Imagine this. You're at a crossroads, keys in hand, ready to start on the journey of home ownership. On one path, you see a brand new, shiny, new construction home with the paint glistening. On the other hand, you see a charming resale property with every family story that lived there previously etched into each brick in that house. Which one will you choose? So let's start this video with the allure of new construction. Everyone loves that new home smell, just like they love that new car smell whenever you buy a new vehicle. And also picture yourself walking into a home where no one has ever lived before. The smell of fresh paint lingers in the air and every surface gleams of a new opportunity. You're in the kitchen and you're running your hands along that beautiful smooth countertop, just knowing you're the first person to ever do that there. It's pretty much a blank canvas waiting for you and your family to create all the memories there. But with new construction, it is so much more than that. Let's break down some pros and cons of new construction. Customation. You are literally the Picasso of your own home, choosing everything between floor plans to the finish out. This is especially true if you get in on the early side of the construction process with a production home builder, or if you want to go the complete custom home build route, you get to choose absolutely everything in that house, which can make it totally unique to you and your family. Energy efficiency. New construction houses are like the Teslas of the housing world. They're all sleek, modern, and pretty easy on the energy bills. And truly, as each year goes by, the technology just continues to get better and better and better with really all the builders. Let's talk warranties with new construction. They're like a big superhero cape that wrap around your house and swoop in case anything ever goes wrong. In all seriousness, most builders, especially ones that we recommend and decide to work with on a daily basis, all have a great home warranty package that they provide. Generally speaking, it's called, here in Texas anyways, it's a 1-2-10 warranty. So for the first year, I call it foundation to shingle, or it's bumper to bumper, but anything in the house is covered by the builder should anything happen in the home. So you get 1 year with that. 2 years, it's systems. So you're talking HVAC system, electrical system, plumbing system, things like that. So your systems are covered for 2 years, especially good when it comes to the HVAC unit, should something happen with that. And then it used to be a 10-year warranty. Now we're kind of seeing it go towards more of like a 6-year maximum, but that is on the foundation. But again, most places you're going to have a stamped, or you should have a stamped foundation or a certificate by an engineer that it's been stamped. That foundation has been, engineered, is certified to last the long haul. And obviously you need to do some things in most instances to protect that and make sure obviously you keep even irrigation around that home. But that is included with the builder's warranty in most instances, especially with people that we work with and recommend. And let's talk modern amenities. It's kind of like the Jetsons era with new technology in the home. I mean, I could truly make a video strictly on smart home technology and all the amazing things that we have been seeing taking our clients out to different new communities here in South Texas. We just helped some clients who are relocating from the state of California over to Texas for work, and I was literally blown away. They had an app for this builder, this particular builder just outside San Antonio, where everything was controlled by that. From, the lighting, they had blinds, the pool, everything was controlled on this app. It was truly amazing at what they're doing. And as each year goes by, just imagine what it's going to be like in the future. And one of my favorite things about new construction is the super low maintenance. You could say goodbye to all those weekend warrior jobs that you have slated if you go with the residential resale. I mean, think about it. If you ever bought a new car before, how often are you taking that new car back to the shop to get fixed? You're not. Well, in most instances, you're not. Same thing goes for a house. Whenever you get a new home, sure, there can be a one-off thing that happens, but generally speaking, you're cruise control for 5 to 10 years down the road. Let's talk about a clean slate. And with new construction, you get a clean slate, not residential resale where you have to worry about what the heck is that smell in the house, or what is that stain on the carpet that may be unidentified? I don't know. With new construction, you don't have any of that. Now, I'm not saying that new construction is absolutely perfect, because it's not. But a brand new house is ready for you, and you don't have to worry about what the previous seller may be hiding from that seller's disclosure. Now, just to be safe with new construction, I always recommend that you get a third-party inspector to go out there to check out the house, because there is no perfect home. Even from the most elite, award-winning custom home builders that we work with, every once in a while, a sub can have a day off and not do their best work. And it's always good to have that third party, somebody that does that work every day for a living, go through there, check it out, and really detail where there may be some deficiencies. And it's under warranty anyways. Do it alongside your blue tape tour, and you get everything knocked out ahead of time before you sign that final line. and you're moving into your house. And with building code compliances, these houses are uber safe. Almost all new construction is up to the latest code specifications, especially with electrical and plumbing. And honestly, we literally have seen codes change several times within a 6 to 7 week time frame, which is truly amazing. So if you can think that happens so much with new construction now, think about a home that's been sitting around for 5 or 10, 15, 20 years. That's way out of whack. Yes, it may be functioning correct and it was built to code at the time, but as things progress and move on and get better and better and better, you're going to have that in new construction. You're not going to have that in residential resale. One of the biggest things about new construction are the incentives that a lot of home builders here, especially in the South Texas area, are providing with their new construction products. It truly feels like you've hit the jackpot, especially if you're looking at a home that has been sitting for a while and an inventory home that hasn't been completely completed. They are ready to move those homes. Just recently, we helped one of our new construction clients secure a home northwest of San Antonio in a town called Bernie. Now, everyone's different, but they were able to get an interest rate of 4.25% for 5 years. That's almost 3% less than the going interest rate today, which is truly amazing. And they have that for 5 years, then they can refinance for free after that. That literally is saving them hundreds to almost thousands of dollars, especially when you throw taxes and HOA fees into that over the long run. I mean, how can you not take new construction serious? Appreciation potential. As the community grows, your home value is likely to grow along with that. As a matter of fact, I can't think of a new construction home that I've helped my clients buy in the last 13 plus years of real estate that hasn't appreciated the same or more than the general year-over-year national appreciation values and just healthier living in general. With materials that are kinder to your lungs, it's like your home is giving you a big soft hug. Souped up air filtration systems that are available in some of these new construction homes are absolutely phenomenal. And sure, you could retrofit your residential resale home with an air filtration system, but with new construction, they're already set in, the system's set up for the whole entire home. It's truly a plug and play operation. But let's stop for a second. It's not all rainbows and sunshine. New construction has some cons as well. Let's get into it. Higher cost. Generally speaking, your wallet may feel that pinch a little bit right from the get-go. The main reason here is it's simply just more money to build a home now than it was several years ago. And just watch if America puts these additional tariffs on these other countries where we get a lot of our building materials, like Canada from the lumber and Mexico for the iron and the things that they provide. Just watch what that will do to the home prices. As a matter of fact, we just did a video on that and we'll link that card right here. You can take a look at that. It's a pretty important deal. And when you go the new construction route, you may be looking at a longer timeline to get into that home. Patience is a virtue, especially when construction delays hit. Speaking generally, weather can play a super important role in the overall scope of that home building process. With production home builders, we're seeing anything between 4 to 5 months on that end. But if you go complete custom construction, you're talking 8, 9, 10 months and beyond, depending on the size and scope of the project. But traditionally, as soon as a home enters the dry-in phase, things can move along at a quicker pace, especially if the builder has already ordered the windows in advance for the home. Generally speaking, your home can pretty much get up and get going from that standpoint. Usually when a home enters the dry-in phase, as we call it, and that's usually when the roof is on and the windows are in and doors are on, and actually it's dry on the inside, then things can happen at a much quicker pace than before, especially if they've already pre-ordered some of those materials. Unfortunately, there may be limited negotiating power on your end. Some builders can be as stubborn as a mule when it comes to stuff like this. To them, it is strictly a business. You don't have that personal relationship with an individual seller. We're not talking human to human here. It's literally corporation to human, and there's not much negotiation room there in most instances. But it's not just on the production side. We work a lot with some of the best custom home builders, like we're talking award-winning home builders in the state of Texas. And you know what? They charge a premium price for their product, and they should. They've won awards. I mean, some of them haven't even built the same house twice. Every home is completely unique and custom for each family. I mean, the interview process that my wife and I went through 8 years ago when we built our house was 4 hours long. And yeah, we love our house. It's great. But, you know, there wasn't any wiggle room on price. They're very proud of the product that they do, and they charge a premium. Have you ever heard the phrase, you get what you pay for? It absolutely rings true in building a brand new custom home for your family. And kind of a unique thing that you may not think about is unestablished neighborhoods. especially if you get into a home where the neighborhood is just starting out and new construction. You may feel like you're out in the Wild West. One tip I want to give you here is if you're getting into a new construction community, you always need to ask either the sales rep or have your real estate agent ask the sales rep, how big is the community going to be? They should have a chart. Usually when you walk in, you will see that stuff off to the side where they have like a graph of what that is, but they're only going to include the community and any kind of like amenities center and things like that. Generally speaking, they're not going to show you outside areas and what's going to be there. And that may be in a separate phase or things of that nature, or they just may not know. But that's one thing you want to know is, hey, how big is this place going to be? What's going to be right next door? So about 12, 13 years ago, we were helping some first-time home buyers buy a new construction home in a suburb just outside the city limits of San Antonio, Texas. Well, they had to have this house that was on a green belt. That's all well and good because it was a green belt at the time. We did some digging into this more and found out that that area was, actually annexed and zoned commercial 2 property, and that future there was going to be probably a McDonald's right next door. So can you imagine opening up your door to have coffee on your back porch and somebody asking you if you want fries with that? So not a good situation. We chose something else in that same neighborhood, but if it wouldn't have been for that extra level of digging, then they probably would have been very disappointed in the years to come. And especially in today's day and age, lot sizes are dollar signs to developers. So you're generally going to have smaller lot sizes, especially when you get just outside the city limits with those, I call them suburbia areas where developers are buying all the farmland up and developing their tract home communities. You're going to get smaller lots there in those areas. Now, that's not to say you can't find larger subdivisions that offer that, but you're generally going to see the price tag increase incrementally after that because you are paying for that land that the builder didn't develop. So you're paying a premium on one side, you're paying a premium on the other side. So check this out. You don't think about it, but there is decision fatigue. It is a very real thing. No one likes to talk about decision fatigue, but with great power comes great responsibility and a lot of choices. So a fun personal story I like to tell is when my wife and I, 8+ years ago, were getting ready to build our dream custom home. We had saved money, lived in a really small, cramped spot with all of our kids, and, we're at each other's necks. We're like, we're going to build a beautiful, big, custom dream home that we're going to spend the rest of our days in. Does that ring a bell? Something familiar? Well, anyways, during that whole entire process, I loved it. My wife absolutely hated all the decisions. She wanted them done for her. But when building a custom home, you get to choose everything yourself. Again, I love the process. She didn't. I'm pretty sure that term divorce was thrown around maybe 30 to 40 times a week. So just know that you're going to have many decisions to do if you go that complete custom route. Now, the good thing is you get to have a house that's completely yours, unique. You've done everything. That is your home. That's your baby. Bad thing is if you're not good at making decisions or you get simply overwhelmed by doing those types of things, you better buckle up because it's going to get real soon. I don't want to talk about it, but we have to talk about it. Higher property taxes. And with new construction, your wallet may keep feeling that pinch for years to come. As soon as those new houses continue to pop up in the subdivision, that appraisal district is in there checking every single thing out. And so annually, those are going to get renewed. I know when we built our house and we're, just outside San Antonio, Texas, but in more of a rural environment, we went 3 or 4 years without having the scope of the appraisal district on us, which is great. But you're not going to have that if you're in a brand new subdivision. And for the people that have green thumbs or love to be outside working in the yard, there's really no mature landscaping in any of these new subdivisions. Now, true, you may get some shrubs up front with a 1 or 2 zone irrigation system and the cheapest Bermuda grass you've ever seen. Maybe a live oak tree in the back that is a year old, but that's about it. Because if you really think about it, having mature trees doesn't make sense to the builder. They're not going to meander the roads in and around these trees that are there because it's all dollar signs to them, right? Now, again, you have those other subdivisions, especially when you get more into the rural parks that are, half acre plus 5, like at that point, we call them mini ranchettes here. But you get to that point, then it's a totally different ballgame. But we're talking strictly tract homes here, just outside major metropolitan areas. Those trees that are there, they're getting tossed. Potential for construction issues. There is no such thing as a perfect home. So even if you think you absolutely have the perfect home, you don't. Even brand new construction homes will have their quirks. And it all ties into going back to why you should really hire a third-party inspector to go through that home, because you're looking at it with a set of home buyer eyes. He's looking at it from a set of inspector eyes. And it's something that he does, or she does, every single day, right? Like, we have the same relationship with 2 or 3 home inspectors that we trust explicitly with any new construction that we have clients that go in and buy. And we're happy to get those appointments set up and have them go through there, because I know what they're looking for. I trust that they're going to do the best job for my clients, and they are going to see things and call builders out when they need to, which is really good, especially if it's around that blue tape tour time when you're looking for scuffs on the walls and things like that. You get everything knocked out ahead of time before you sign on the dotted line and get the keys to your brand new house. How about the cookie cutter appearances? I mean, you're driving around and you think you're in an episode of the Stepford Wives. This is one of the things I've seen in new construction, especially around that $200,000 to $300,000 to $400,000 price point around the greater San Antonio area. But you can see this no matter what in other parts of the country, in different cities and metropolitan areas, because these builders are doing the same thing in those areas as well. I call them a shoebox floor plan. And it's just a huge open room. Like, you walk in and you have living room, dining room, kitchen, all in one. There really is no separation of space. I get functional open floor plan spaces, but there's no originality here with these. At least have a wall up somewhere to where you're able to kind of have separate conversations. But no, not now. You walk in and they'll dress them up with either cedar beams or cathedral ceilings and, large drop down, fans, like farmhouse style fans or farmhouse light fixtures. And they'll put some color on the cabinetry and it'll pop and everything looks beautiful. But the grand scheme of things, you're walking into a shoebox and all those voices are going to echo everywhere. Trust me, I've seen it time and time again. All right, now let's wander down the path of residential resale homes. Now, these properties have a story to tell. These homes can be super charming and have decades of laughter and memories just flowing down the hallways. You may go through a home and find yourself falling in love with that beautiful but quirky bay window over to the side, or that solid feel of those beautiful hardwood floors that were just refinished right before they put the house up for sale. It's kind of like stepping into a time machine, just with indoor plumbing. Now let's break down some of the pros that we've seen with residential real estate over the course of the years. One of the biggest pluses is established neighborhoods. As soon as you get the keys, you're stepping into like instant community positive vibes. So one thing I like to tell my relocating clients is to try to join a Facebook group or any other type of group that has the whole community as a whole. I just say Facebook because almost every neighborhood that I can think of here that's residential resale has some type of Facebook group that you're able to kind of get into once you fill out the administration questions, but you can get into and meet some of the neighbors. It's kind of like a plug and play solution, especially if you don't know anybody relocating to, a new community. That is such a great asset to have. And you're able to see, especially dig into the people that have been there for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, staying in those houses. You're literally walking into just a great situation where you can meet people instantly. And that's the benefit of getting a home as residential resale. How about the potential for lower cost? It's something your wallet's definitely going to thank you for. Now, can you get some new construction out there? Are there builders that are providing kind of an inferior product just to get the house up and gone? I'm not going to name names. But can you get some of those houses cheaper than residential resale? Sure. But generally speaking, it's more expensive to buy new construction than it is residential resale because it costs more money to build now than it did years ago that the residential resale house was built. But as an overall package, I'm saying residential resale for the same square footage is generally going to cost you less than a brand new construction home. Let's talk mature landscaping. You can sit back underneath one of those trees that have canopies that are so big they provide shade, and they've been there for more presidents than you've probably been alive for. This is one of the great things about residential resale that I really like is you get to have these huge trees, especially here in South Texas. You get these generational live oaks that are huge, 200, 300, 400 years old, especially, out here in the county I live in. They're just massive, beautiful canopy trees. You're not going to get that in a new construction neighborhood. You're definitely able to tell, even you go through some of the subdivisions or some of the areas, downtown San Antonio area, like the King William or even Alamo Heights, you're able to see some of these homes that are built in the 1910s and 20s, just gorgeous mansions, just adorned with these beautiful tree-lined streets. Absolutely fantastic. It literally looks like it's something out of a postcard. Character and charm of residential resale will blow the doors off of anything new construction. That's a fact. This is especially true if you're looking at homes in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, especially in South Texas. We have seen some amazing homes, especially some of those historic home designations that are in the inner city areas of San Antonio. Just gorgeous, gorgeous old Victorian style homes, even some craftsman style homes that were built back then. Truly stunning, 100% character, 100% of the time. One thing I like to do with my little private investigation, being a real estate agent that I am, is you get the proven track record with residential resale. Now, you can't find every single thing, but it's much easier to find there than you can a new construction home. Let me give you some examples. You're able to pull up who purchased the house in the past. You're able to pull up any kind of land issues with it. You're able to pull up all sorts of information that you may not be able to find in new construction just because there isn't that history there. There is with residential resale, and it's a great thing. You know, you're able to find out anything that happened in the past with seller's disclosures. You're able to find out anything happened in the past with on-site septic forms if you live in a rural area that has septics. Check out the survey. You're able to see what's been added. Are there multiple surveys on that property? You're able to see, was a pool added? Is there anything in any easement that could draw an issue with the title company? So you have the track record of residential resale that you just don't have with new construction. In many instances, you get immediate availability to a residential resale house. You don't have to worry about living out of a boxes or an Airbnb or one of those little scummy short-term rentals, motels on the side of the major interstates. This is especially true if that residential resale house is vacant. Multiple times, especially in the last 2 to 3 years, I don't know what it is, but if a home is vacant, people are doing a lot of contingency offers. And what that is people want to buy a house, but they either need to sell their house first or there's some issue first that they need to clear up before they can buy that house. Well, a lot of times they're already out of one house going into another. We can do a buyer's residential temporary lease to get them in there before they even sign on the dotted line. That's just a major perk. You don't have to wait for that new construction home to finish. Residential resale is already done. You're able to get in there early if you need to and start living. How about room for negotiation? You can flex those bargaining muscles. Now, real estate markets change year over year. That's a constant. It's like a wave. I tell everybody all the time, real estate is nothing but a wave. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, but it'll always be there. So obviously, real estate markets change year over year. Interest rates can be low, then they can be high, and that changes from a seller's market to a buyer's market. And your seasoned real estate professional will be able to help you with that, especially with negotiations when it comes to buying that residential resale home that you're looking at. And if you don't have a real estate agent, reach out to me, let me know. Our team works nationwide. I would be happy to set you up with somebody that's seasoned, professional, and energetic that's going to stay on the hook for you to land you that home that you're looking for. My contact information is in the description below. And many times with residential real estate, you have that established infrastructure set already for you. Now, generally residential real estate, just by the laws of how often people move, as an average, you're in there for 5 to 7 years. And so that community more than likely is going to be completely built out by then. So any kind of amenity center or community pool or walking trail or dog park, all those things are already set up where you can step in and enjoy them. We did have clients previously that they were one of the first 2 or 3 homes inside a new community just outside San Antonio, and they waited a while for things to get up and running. I mean, it took a while for that community pool to be built, to enjoy the basketball hoop that was there. Their kids were yearning for that jungle gym to get up and going. It just takes a while for those things to happen, especially when you're out there already and you see how long it's taking to get those up. I'm sure the days, it seem like months and then years, but with residential resale, those things generally are up and running and you're ready to roll. And how about some of the larger lot sizes in residential resale? You have room for all your dreams to grow. And this is especially true areas outside of the major metropolitan areas. Take Texas, for example. You have Dallas, Houston, Austin, and San Antonio. Major ones, right? Well, you go outside of there, some of the fastest growing areas in the whole entire state are between San Antonio and Austin, that I-35 corridor. But some of the suburbs out there and some of the rural areas, even past that, you're seeing incredible growth. And we're talking 1 to 2 acreage home sites up to 5 to 10 acre mini ranchettes that are out there. And then you get into the hill country, you get some gorgeous 20, 30, 40, 50 acre tract. We see this is especially true in the major metropolitan areas like Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, and Austin, right? So the fastest growing area right now at making this video is in between San Antonio and Austin. The growth is completely off the charts. That I-35 corridor, you are seeing these little pocket communities kind of sprout up all along that, and it's going to be eventually a major metropolitan hub, just like you see Dallas and Fort Worth. But how it pertains to this is you are seeing some great communities that were there previously for residential resale that are at least an acre or 2 acres, 3 acres, 5, 10, like little mini ranchettes. I know when my wife and I built our home that we had talked about previously, we have 3 acres that we decided we wanted to be on because we, for our family of 6, we wanted to be able to reach out and not touch our neighbors from side to side like you see a lot in these tract home areas. So larger lot sizes is definitely one of the major pluses with most residential resale, especially when you get into more of the rural areas outside of the major metros. And how about value add renovations to your residential resale house? You're not going to be able to do that with new construction, or why would you? But you can buy low with residential resale, flip it, do some work yourself, put in some sweat equity, and then hopefully sell high whenever it's time to leave. And if that's something that you are looking at, don't waste your time with some of the projects that don't have a good ROI. I'm going to give you some great advice here. Stick to the main areas. Kitchens and primary bathrooms sell houses, right? Kitchens, primary bathrooms sell houses. Anything outside of that, great. But I'd focus on front curb appeal and backyard entertaining space. You're welcome. And if you've ever seen the movie The Money Pit, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. With residential resale, especially some of the older homes, there is a potential for higher maintenance costs. And get ready to become friends with a cashier at the local hardware store, because more often than not, you're going to find yourself making runs to that hardware store to get some of those odds and ends things that you're going to need to fix some of those homes that are slightly older. You're generally going to come across things that are outdated features. Things that make the news are the top new trends of construction or the top new things of this. I mean, we make videos on that stuff. But one thing you're going to see is you're going to go through a home that's residential resale, and you're going to be like, I don't like that shag carpeting. That's not in style anymore. But it's not just the carpeting. It could be the plumbing fixtures or the light fixtures as well. There will certainly be plenty of updates probably needed if you're going to buy a home that's generally 5 to 7 years or older, especially to bring it up to taste. One thing that some of my buying clients like to do, especially if they're getting a home that has carpet, is they will contact a steam cleaning company to come out and get the carpet professionally cleaned before they even move in, if they have the ability to do that. Or they will create a budget to get that carpet completely out of there and put something with a harder surface down, either like ceramic tile or like a laminate or a plank flooring, something like that. Or like a luxury vinyl flooring. How about less energy efficiency? Look, insulation back then isn't what insulation is like today. I mean, spray foam. I mean, I've gone into an attic that's had 2 inches of closed cell spray foam in it before, and it was 100 degrees outside and it was 75 degrees in the attic. That's incredible. And that technology with insulation is leap years ahead of the old roll foam insulation that you see back in the day. Let's talk about potential health hazards in a home. Lead-based paint and asbestos, that's not the vintage charm that we're going for here. Now, you generally don't see that in homes that were built like 1980s and beyond, but before then, it's a crapshoot. You may have a home that had that in there because that's how they built homes back in the day. Now, you see when things change over time, you're not going to have those issues moving forward. But if you are looking at a home that has that age on it when it was built or it's unknown, best to get that inspected and found out. Limited customizations. If you're getting a residential resale home that's older, you're not going to come in there and start knocking down walls, especially if it's a load-bearing wall. Now, in some instances, you can if you're going to flip the property and put it right back on the market. But if you're going to be living in there, it's not worth the battle, in my opinion. Get something that's 90% what you want, then you can put 10% into it to make it your home. And how about some of those outdated appliances that we see when we go through residential resale homes, especially some of the older ones? Trust me, that avocado green fridge, that's not in anymore. As a matter of fact, we went through a home last week and it had one of the old school trash compactors. I haven't seen those in probably a decade. So it's cool to see if they function, that's great. But more often than not, when our clients are going to go buy a home and they're looking at appliances that are 5, 6, 7 years old, especially the lower tier appliances, they know they're going to be replacing those probably within a year or two. Lack of warranties in residential resale. And yes, can you buy a home? We oftentimes negotiate a home warranty program into our contracts for our clients that are buying a home. But I will tell you that some of them are good and some of them aren't good. They'll promise the world, but then you get to the point and it's just throwing good money after bad. So you're not going to have that builder's warranty that we talked about previously. That's great. Bumper to bumper, all that stuff for no cost. Doesn't happen with residential resale. Potential for hidden issues in residential resale. And how about the potential for hidden issues? Surprise! That's not the surprise you want with home ownership, is it? It's not. Surprise! You have a leaky water heater. That's not the surprise of home ownership that we want, especially when we buy a house. It never fails. I feel like when you buy a home, something's going to happen within those 2 to 3 weeks. Whenever you bought it, that you're going to be like, dang it. Of course, that's my luck. And if that has happened to you, leave me a comment below. I would love to hear that story. So what I tell my buying clients is I always like to have a fund of $1,000 or $2,000, just kind of off to the side, like an emergency fund that you have in case some of those issues do arise, because they will, that you have the ability to handle that and then not take too much of a hit and continue moving on and enjoying that home that you just bought. So competition in hot markets, and obviously real estate in California is different than it is in Texas, which is different as it is in Michigan and different than it is in New York. But I will tell you, each market, while it's different, you may have to get pretty rowdy. Your real estate agent may have to get pretty rowdy with their negotiation tactics in order to land that residential resale home that you like. But inventory is going to be the main driving factor on whether or not your real estate agent needs to break out the boxing gloves. And lastly, let's talk about the emotional attachment of some sellers that are selling their home, especially true if they've had either a loss at the home or maybe they've made some great memories at the home that they're just having a hard time detaching from or leaving. But that's a super true statement. And, we see it from time to time, especially like if a homeowner had a pet that passed away or there's some type of fixture or some type of something at the house that is very special to the seller that reminds them of something or a loved one that's no longer here or like a pet that had passed away. Sometimes it's hard for the seller to leave that emotional attachment of the home. And, we've seen it several times to where the homeowner will just kind of hang around even after closing because while they know they have to leave and go on to other things, they're sad to leave that thing or that item behind that comes with the house. And you just don't see that with new construction. So the epic showdown between new construction and residential resale will battle on for years to come. And always remember, choosing a home, it's more than just thinking about the bricks and mortar. It's about finding a place where you can build your future, create lasting memories, and truly make it a home. So especially if you're drawn into the gleamingness of that beautiful quartz countertops in that new construction home, or you're looking for that time-tested resilience of a residential resale home, the right choice is always going to be one that speaks to you directly. And hey, if you want to learn more about cutting-edge innovations in new construction, I got a video right here, my top 10 innovations for 2025. You have to check it out. Trust me, it's going to blow your mind. And don't forget, we service the entire country. So if you're looking for real estate assistance, we can help you out. Contact information is in the description below, and we'll see you in the next video.